I don't know about you, but when I was very young, it never occurred to me that my parents and grandparents ever looked any different from the way they looked to me in my childhood. This is my daughter Mona in 1975 at about age 4 with her paternal grandmother Lucy and great-grandmother Elsie. Lucy was about 57 at the time, Elsie was 86. I'm sure that both were frozen in time in Mona's mind, and she subconsciously assumed that they had always had the gray hair and wrinkles and tired and aging bodies she saw them with in her childhood. Mona would have had no clue in 1975 that her Grandma Lucy, who looked like this, would have looked like this 50 years earlier. A fresh-faced, lively little girl just like herself. And Mona would have had no concept of her great-grandma Elsie, who looked like this in the 1970s, would have looked like this 65 years earlier, back in about 1910. A perky young woman with a youthful, smooth face and dark hair. Mona would have had even less concept that this was ever her Grandma Elsie, a dynamic, hardy young woman in about 1914 who had headed out at age 19 on a train, all alone, from her childhood hometown in Michigan to be a teacher in one-room schools in rural Wyoming and claim her own 320-acre homestead by building and living in a one-room cabin for 5 years. That Elsie was a spunky young woman who traveled back and forth to work every day on a big old horse and wore a pistol in a holster on her hip and knew how to use it. Yes, I don't doubt I was the same as Mona when I was young. I couldn't imagine my grandparents without gray hair and wrinkles, much less envision them as youthful young parents. And even when I was a young adult, I had a hard time conceiving that my parents had ever been newlyweds, much less babies. This illusion of timelessness for my elders was no doubt shattered the first time I saw a family picture album. I wish I could go back and feel the wonderment I likely had when I first time traveled with the help of Kodak and saw the complete strangers that my parents claimed were them. I still get what is probably a similar jarring feeling when I first see a youthful picture of a friend my own age. If you are a senior citizen and meet a new couple your own age without thinking it through, I'm suspicious it may be typical to kind of freeze them in the present too. It never even occurs to you to ponder what they may have looked like as a young married couple or as babies. And I really can remember the wonderment I felt the first time I've seen a wedding photo of aging friends on their mantel or wall. I almost feel silly, but inside I think, why, look what a fresh-faced and cute couple they were so long ago. As if only my husband George and I were once upon a time fresh-faced and cute. Yes, here is the way we've looked in recent years and the way we were once upon a time. I've said all that to say this. Everybody who ever lived to adulthood, including everyone from Julius Caesar and George Washington to Cleopatra and Martha Washington, was a baby once upon a time and was a fresh-faced young person once upon a time. And starting about 175 years ago, in the mid-19th century, we've been able to see proof of that through the magic of photography. So, in the rest of this video, just for fun, we are going to walk down memory lane into the past and spot some younger versions of well-known people that we've mostly been just used to seeing as full-grown adults. I invite you to play a guessing game with me as you look back on the way they were. Let's start here. Can you guess who this freckle-faced little boy is? You might be tempted at first to think it was a photo from the earlier youth of Mad Magazine's Alfred E. Newman. There sure is a distinct similarity. Or did you suppose it was maybe a young Ron Howard, shown here in his role as Richie Cunningham in the Happy Days TV show of the early 1970s? As you can see from the small photo here on the right of a much younger Ron playing Opie Taylor on the Andy Griffith Show in the early 1960s, there certainly is a strong similarity with the young mystery lad on the left. But no, it's not Ron Howard. It's a young President John F. Kennedy. So now that we've had some practice, sit back and enjoy the guessing game as we time travel back down memory lane to see lots of familiar faces the way they were. I hope you've enjoyed this nostalgic walk down memory lane with lots of familiar faces. Before I go, let me stump you with one last puzzler. Yes, sir, prepare to be unable to place a name with this young face.